Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this finds you. Let me introduce myself. I'm Corinne Hoisington. I'm one of you. I am a classroom and online teacher at both a high school in Virginia and at a community college with dual enrollment. So I can't wait to show you what's happening with Microsoft Teams and engagement tools that we could use online. I want to thank our host today, National Geographic and Cengage Learning. I'm actually one of the authors. I write the Microsoft Office series as one of the authors for Shelley Cashman and some programming books as well. And what I'm most proud of in this life is I'm the mother of 6 children and 6 grandchildren. So I guess I'm starting my own school. But most of us are now probably working from home, or you might do that once in a while. In fact, I've got to introduce my granddaughter. She's been helping me work from online, and I think she's doing a much better job than I am some days. She seems to have everything going on there. So right now, I want to share what are some tools and engagement ideas that we can use in an online environment to really connect not only with our colleagues, but most of all with our students. So what are some of these tools going to look like? So we have someone knocking on your classroom door.
Hold me now, touch me now. I don't want to live without you. Nothing's gonna change my love for you. You wanna know by now how much I love you. One thing you can be sure of, I'll never ask for more than your love. Nothing's gonna change my love for you. You wanna know by now how much I love you.
So let's let her into our classroom. A lot of new engagement ideas.
Nothing's gonna change my love for you. You wanna know by now how much I love you. One thing you can.
Well, let's get started. You know, here we are at the beginning of 2020, moving forward through the 2020s. And yes, we know it's going to be a very interesting year already. We've seen the headlines everywhere that a lot of classrooms have moved online. And we want to help you prepare for that because I think it's a new honor to work with our students in a different way. We all are concerned about inequality. Not every student has the same internet and same technology present. But let's see what are some tools that possibly could level that playing field as we go along. First, I want you to jot something down for me and feel free at any point in time to stop and start this video again where you go out and go try some of these tools that we'd like you to experience. So my first website, ngl.cengage.com. These are some great free resources that are available for K-12 schools across the country. And especially if you're experiencing some school closure, these are some ideas that can really help you out. And don't forget, with a link to National Geographic, let's kind of take a look here in a second. What we're really seeing out there is we now have some great ways to connect with all these pieces and parts in here. So we want to be able to do that with a lot of the resources that are there and all kinds of ideas. One of my favorite pieces here is that there are videos on digital solutions and tons of educational resources from National Geographic, and some of the explorers are just
Corinne,
amazing.
I'm
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we lost your screen share, so we just just see your video right now. Would you mind just sharing your screen?
Yeah, let's do that for sure. Cool. Yeah, that's good to know, and we'll pick back up there. Let's see what's going on.
Okay, go ahead.
So let's kind of see some of the resources that are available at ngl.cengage.com. So we want to make sure that you know all the resources out there that would assist. So if you go out to the NGL site, you will see that there are tons of resources to assist your school that can provide free access to all kinds of digital tools. Let's take a look. For example, some of my favorites have to do with National Geographic. The resource libraries here are just truly phenomenal. So if you want to talk about climate change or erosion or any of these topics, this would be a great start to find some exciting environments to share with your class, whether in person later or maybe online as we're moving forward here. So now you're probably noticing something here. Let me go back into slide mode. As I've been speaking, have you been noticing that at the bottom of my slide, it looks like it's doing some closed captioning? Boy, that could be helpful. I want you to imagine that you're working with students online and maybe you want to speak to their parents, that maybe English is not their first language. I grew up in Miami, Florida, and I'm the youngest of 9 children, and we did not speak English as our first language. We spoke Spanish. So in that community, this would be really helpful to have these captions, maybe for all of your students to see the words on the bottom of the screen might be a good reading resource. And if you have a student who is hearing impaired, wouldn't this be awesome to be able to see this? So how am I doing this? So what I want to show you is if you're using PowerPoint, I'm going under the slideshow tab of PowerPoint. And if you have Office 365, they now have a tool called subtitles, and you can check them. You can even pick what language you prefer. Maybe I want to go from English to Spanish or English to English. Actually, 64 different languages are available. So this is always a great way to connect with our students. Now, I know what you're thinking. Corinne, we are not using PowerPoint at all. Well, I've got you covered. Even if you're using Chromebooks or any kind of tool like that, let me take you back out. There is a free website. Boy, we can handle free right now, right? The website's name is called translate.it, translate.it. And what it allows you to do is type in your name, the language you're going to be speaking, hit enter, and it will actually give you some digits. So in this case, translate.it, TDEGX. And then if you share that link, the parent or student can now log in and pick whatever their preferred language is. So that way, if you need a student conference or a parent conference, we can connect with anyone, no matter what the situation it is. Pretty cool, eh? And totally for free. And I love the fact that we can speak almost any language. Well, let me show you.
We will prepare for next week's order. We ordered 10,000 units.
That sounds good.
Pretty cool, huh?
On our side.
They're speaking to mom in Japanese and mom hears them in English.
For next year.
Absolutely, we can put a plan in place.
Can you understand me?
Yes, I can understand you.
Okay, I have a lot of questions. How do you guys fly? What does Santa do in the summer? What's a sleigh made out of? It seems...
Okay, maybe we're not there yet, but we are definitely heading that direction. So a lot of our schools are going online, and I don't see this as a drastic, terrible moment. I see it as an opportunity to reach our students in any way that we can, in any setting. So one of the free apps that I think would be really neat to share with your students, and maybe conduct an online lesson that could be recorded or in person is an app that maybe they could put on their parents' phone. It's called Google Lens. Google Lens is first of all free, and it could be something that they could go outside and point, let's say, at a tree, a plant, and it actually tells you what kind of tree or plant it is. For my high school teachers, you could actually point at any kind of outfit or shoes, and it will tell you where that person got them from while you're watching television, a new way to market. Well, let me show you.
Hi, Abby and Teddy here to show you the Google Lens. Thank you. This feature allows you to use your camera to search what you see in the world.
Search what you see with the Google Lens.
That's what I said. Thank you. Thank you. Let's take this plant, for example. First, you double tap the power button, open the camera, and then you long press on the plant, and it switches it into lens mode and lets it do its magic. Ooh, a bromelia, nice.
Yeah, I already knew that.
Right, because you know, we are into horticulture.
Yes, very much.
Now I'm gonna see where we get this nice lamp from.
I made this lamp by hand.
Looks like you bought it there, Teddy.
No, I specifically remember making this lamp by hand.
Now, these sunglasses that I've been trying to steal from Teddy for 2 weeks. Put them on, I want to see where you got them from. If you won't tell me, Google will. And ordered.
Yo, don't steal my style.
Too late. About to wear your sunglasses. Bop, bop, bop.
Now, if you're on an Android phone, you would just go to your app store and download the free app called Google Lens. Hey, and for my iPhone friends, just go to your Play Store, and what I want you to download is actually called Google, the app. It's now integrated into the regular Google app, and when you search, you'll see a little symbol that digitizes for Google Lens. So check it out at YouTube, and it might be something that you can use whether you're online or face-to-face. But I want to show you some tools that would help everyone. And one of the biggest concerns with sometimes teaching online is not all of our students are able to understand everything in the same way. Let's talk about our special needs students for a moment. I think in this separation where they're not going to be able to receive face-to-face instruction, maybe there's some tools that they could use.
People laugh whenever I read sometimes. Well, they knew how to read, and I didn't. I will never be good at reading. I will probably be held back again. It highlights the words to know where I am. When it's reading, I see spaces between the words, and it's easy to focus on. The first time I actually could read that book, I was proud of myself. I was very proud of myself. Good job, Joey.
When technology and education come together, possibility becomes reality.
I want to read every book in here.
So, how do we do this? Now, I know you're thinking, I don't know if I have any dyslexic students. I think the indicator here is whatever grade level, a lot of our students have a hard time understanding what they read. And if they're trying to do worksheets at home and understand them, this may be where that 1 in 5 students who maybe are diagnosed or not diagnosed have a hard time understanding that assignment. We're now seeing a free tool show up in products like Microsoft Word, in browsers like Microsoft Edge, in online environments like Canvas, and much more. Let me just show you where these are just in case you have a student that really could benefit from having a tool like this. So I'm going to open up first just Microsoft Word. And I just have a Word document in here. It turns out that the new Word, if I click somewhere in my document, I can go under the View tab and go under something called Immersive Reader. It takes my document and changes the colors. You can actually select those colors to make it easier to read. And then I can split it up by syllables to make it a little easier to read. And then it can read aloud.
Corinne Hoisington is a full-time professor of information systems technology at Central Virginia Community College.
And we can slow it down. We can even do something called line focus, making it
in Lynchburg, Virginia, with more than 25 years of.
So you can see, but how could we use this, let's say, in our learning management system, if you have one, or maybe just a browser? So let's say I find a great little lesson plan that I want to use in my classroom. And what I want to use here is I want to do this. I want to turn my classroom into an escape room or build an escape room in their homes so that parents could set this up as a learning module. Well, let's say the students are trying to read through this and understand it. Well, now in the Microsoft Edge browser, which is even downloadable if you have Chromebooks through the App Store or on a Mac, you can download the Edge browser. Right over here, there's a new tool. And if the page is able to be read with an immersive reader, it'll show up. So I'm going to click right here. And I want this to be read to me. I'm going to click Enter Immersive Reader. And it's going to take this page. And now I could open the grammar tools. I could actually highlight my nouns in one color, verbs in another, adjectives, and let's see, break it into syllables. Look what's happening, and it's even identifying. And I could even have it read aloud to me. Let me try that out here. So we can now have it read out loud.
It's easier than you think, and it's totally worth the effort.
So we can put this together. And did you hear, it didn't sound so computery like it used to. So we're getting better voice translators that make it a little bit easier to hear. And there are a lot of voice options. Check this out. There are nows that are in all different kinds of
classroom escape rooms or breakout challenges, amp up the engagement and problem solving.
And that didn't sound so computerized, did it? So I'm pretty impressed. That's called the Immersive Reader. And it may be a great tool to share. But my main focus today is talking about a free tool that would really kind of be that digital hub for our classroom, online or in person, called Microsoft Teams. And the best news I have for you is that it's totally free. Jot down this web address, maybe stop the video, set it up, and come back. And maybe as I give the demo, you could be trying it out live. What do you think? So we're seeing tons of schools use Microsoft Teams. And the best news is it can be used on any platform. It could be used on a Chromebook, a PC or Mac, or if parents just have a smartphone, well, maybe that's a way that they could use Teams because Teams is also a free app. So how to get started? Jot down this web address, teams.microsoft.com/edu start, and you can sign up and get this for your classrooms. So it will ask you questions like, are you a student or a teacher? And this way you can get it set up and ready to roll. Your school could actually be a Google school and totally use this. What are some of the advantages? Well, let me show you as we give the demo, because there are a lot of things in here that work in schools, but it's one of the biggest platforms used in the work community. So several of your parents in your classrooms will already be using Teams to telework to their jobs as well. So it might be a tool that they're super familiar with anyway. Now, if your school is already an Office 365 school, you probably, when you log in to office.com or your email, maybe have even seen this button for Teams. So if you are an Office 365 school, you won't have to do that setup. You already have it. But if you're not, then you can do that earlier slide right here, this setup, to get Teams on your device. So what can Teams do? We're about to go live in a demo, but why? Well, this will allow you to teach online for free. And you can do it asynchronously or synchronously, which means I can do it live or record my lesson and share it later. We could actually work with colleagues on projects. You could actually connect with your principal, your different teams at your school to come up with ideas. A lot of you, let's say you're a grade 6 teacher, work in a middle school team, and it would really be good if you could have a collective approach when you're working at home. You could share lessons across school systems, share documents. You can have 250 students and teachers can be live at the same time on video. Now, you may want to put people on mute just in case all those dogs are barking, but ultimately it starts to give students more of a voice. And we know when students feel like they're a part of a community, it really gives them that connection. And don't forget, that video could be coming from their smartphone. It doesn't have to be a full PC, Mac, or Chromebook. They can share, you could share content and files with your students, like worksheets that we want to do. Now, right now, a lot of schools are printing them out and dropping them off with parents outside the school. But how about sharing them right this way? And if this continues that we're working from home, this might be a better option. You can share your desktop, pass control for a student to share their work, and there are even tools like Whiteboard and apps that you may know already, like Flipgrid and beyond, that can be a part of this. So let me kind of go live now and show you what Teams looks like. And even if you're aware of Teams, maybe it'll give you some new ideas to do with your class. So once you get Teams set up through that link, and I'll be giving you my email address at the end to assist you, you'll come into the Microsoft Teams environment, and there are two ways to use Teams. One is through the browser, and the other way is to download it and make it an installed app on your computer if it's a PC. So you could use it either way, in the browser or install it and open it. Both are free. If you look over here in Teams on the left, you have what we call our team apps. What are the students' activity? This is our chat feature. What's happening in the different Teams groups, happening live in our classrooms. We can break it into course. We can break it into channel. We can set up meetings. We can share files. And these three little dots, called an ellipsis, actually allow us to add over 300 different apps into this environment. If you're familiar with OneNote and sharing notes and students doing their notes, and you can actually grade right online if that was something you're interested in. And we can even add apps like Flipgrid and beyond. Let me kind of pretend that I have set this up, and I now want to send a link to our students and to other fellow teachers to join me within the Teams. So what I could do is look at the bottom. We're under the Teams app right here on the left. Down here at the bottom, you can see all these tools. I can actually type here and connect with my class and say hello. I can start a conversation. If I want to connect with a fellow teacher, I could put an @ sign and put the name of other people that I'm working with to find and connect with them. Or one of my favorite things to do here is at the bottom, we can have motivational little memes. So if I want everyone to practice on focusing, I could put a cute little video in here that helps us focus a little bit. Oh, a cat always does that, right? And we could meet live. So let me kind of show you what that might look like. I'm going to click down here on Meet Now, but we also have the option of going into the calendar and setting up a certain time. But if you want to record it and not be live, Meeting Now and recording might be the best option, and then sharing this recording out through your learning management system, through email, and they can just click this link without downloading anything and start watching these recorded videos. So I'm going to click on Meet Now right now, and it says, do you want to turn your video on? Do you want your camera front facing or back facing if you happen to have more than one? So I'm gonna say, what I wanna do is connect with my class. And what I wanna do right here is meet now, but I'm gonna actually record it. I'll show you how. And we'll start to see these pieces come up on the screen here. Now, my camera is already being used for our presentation right now. So usually my video would be right here, but I'm using it in our recording right now. So we won't see that little piece. But I can come down here and share my video, have my discussion, and I can share my screen. The easiest way to share your screen, so if you want to take them out and show them some science experiment or something we'll be doing, I could click on share right here and just pick desktop is the easiest way. I can also click this share button at the bottom and go straight into a whiteboard. So if I want to do a math lesson or something along those lines, here we're about to join this whiteboard. Maybe I want to draw an amoeba for science class. Let me draw amoeba because almost everything I draw kind of looks like an amoeba anyway. I'm not too artistically inclined. And then you can actually open this whiteboard that the students can draw at the exact same time. They might even just say hi to everybody. Don't forget, they're missing that sense of community as well. So we can share our whiteboard, our PowerPoints, anything that you want to kind of put together in your class. For my high school students, maybe share Excel spreadsheets, and I could show anything in the Google Classroom because by now sharing my screen, I can share anything I put on my screen. I could also have a meeting chat that we can continue to have, and I can even share things, let's say a YouTube. Let me type in that I want to show my students everything about a cell. So I'm typing in VR Cell 360, or I get YouTubes from that, or maybe Nat Geo Volcano. Tons of different 360 videos that are out there that would be great in my class. And then that way the whole class can find the same video that I want to share in my class. So now I can search for this and play it right here during my class. And that way the students can see some live video or click on it later if they wanted to watch it. So some great way to pull pieces in. I can even send some praise to my students. So I can say, man, you have really, that assignment you turned in the other day was a great job. So I could put a little personal note here and send it to their name to really kind of connect with them. So we can send praise, we can send YouTubes, we can even share the weather or look up anything in Wikipedia. So if I'm trying to talk about photosynthesis or any term that I want here, I could get a starting point. And this may not be the right grade level, but for some of us, it would be a great way to bring in some information here to my whole class. We even have stock tools for those who are more in middle and high school. And we even can search different places and weather and news. So if we want to talk about being healthy and washing your hands, well, we've got a great platform right here to do that. Make sense? And a lot of times if you know what to type into YouTube to get the exact video that you're looking for, it would be the great way to go. We can actually record this under these three dots right here. There's a button here to start recording. And we also can turn off or blur your background. You say, what do you mean blur my background? If you're in a situation where you have a video running, but you have people popping in, your kids running by, the dog popping in, you can actually blur all of that so you don't have those distractions, which might make a better recording and not needing to do it over again. When you're done recording, you can just hang up and now be able to share that link, share that recording with anyone. So how would you do a Teams if you wanted to set a meeting for another date? Maybe you want to meet with the parents in your class. I could go under my calendar tool and I could actually set up a certain meeting time. And if they can't meet, they could still watch it through the recording. So I would just hit new meeting and say, maybe I want to meet with the parents, or maybe every evening I want to record a story time for my third graders where I will be reading How to Train a Train or whatever would work. So maybe even some of your parents might volunteer to do some reading for our class. So now we can invite them at a certain time. What this will ultimately do for you is provide links. You could add their email addresses here and continue on to put all this together where it's easy to invite people and so forth. So this is a free tool that's available called Microsoft Teams, and we're really starting to see it used throughout the country. Feel free to also go to YouTube and type in Microsoft Teams. It'll give you a good starting point of how we can get the students integrated in what we're teaching. Now with Microsoft Teams, I know we're in kind of uncharted territory. I always kid, if you have your video on, you have to clean up, right? But if you don't have your video on, you can just have audio only. So whatever you feel more comfortable as you're doing. And again, Microsoft Teams works on any device and even on phones, which might be a really good fit. Think of Teams as a way to also tutor students one-on-one. You can send a link and then just have that student that you work with individually. During Microsoft Teams, you may want to do some icebreakers if you're meeting with your classes. Maybe each student could share their favorite book or their favorite dessert. They could introduce their pets or stuffed animals or siblings or an adult in their world. Maybe they could start off with a 6-word story about their day. They have to think of this 6-word story that they want to share. They could do show and tell. They could share their favorite superpower, what they would like to have, or which superhero would you be and why. I do different activities with my online classes. I do things like roll a topic. I will have a pair of dice, roll them, and based on what I roll that day, they would have to tell me their favorite TV show or their favorite app or their favorite sport. Or you may just want to kind of share things about you. Mrs. Henderson, her favorite season, her dog. Don't forget, you're home, so you can finally maybe share a little bit of what your dog looks like live. Maybe some arts and crafts, something to make it more personable, where they're more interested in what you're talking about that day. We're going to be sharing on this link. I'll have a couple files that I'll be putting underneath. So this is one called Remote Learning on something called Flipgrid. I want to show you in closing today one more app that both works in Teams, but it also works even if you're not using Teams. It's a standalone app. What is it? It's a free, simple way to kind of foster short video-based discussions, and they don't all have to take place at one time. So you could build a community, and it's really easy for the parents to record their young child or adult child as they would make their own video. It's really easy to set up. You can get started in 5 minutes. You would just simply go to flipgrid.com. There's no cost whatsoever. Some of you might already be using it, but maybe now to use it in a different way. What could you do if you're teaching pre-K to middle school? You could have the students do daily learning reflections, like how are you feeling? Don't forget, caring about the students' mental state and how we can all kind of work together is kind of important. Reading and book talks, maybe they could give the book of the day. Maybe some STEM thinking, project demonstrations. You could send them home with an experiment that they could do in their kitchen and they could record it. Maybe some fluency and phonics. In high school, a daily video journal or language learning or peer review or a debate question. So or even some family learning. Always never a bad idea. So how does Flipgrid work? I'm going to leave my Flipgrid open, and what I'd like you to do right now is to do me a favor. I want you to either download Flipgrid on your phone or go to the website flipgrid.com. It's going to ask you for a code, and my particular code, let me make this screen a little bit bigger, is right here, 1F7D4EC9. Stop the video, write that down, put it in. What we're going to do is anyone who watches this video, we want you to kind of post some of your ideas that you're doing online with maybe some of your students right now to make this a community. So this is going to be open not just today, but for months to come. When you open it up with this link, you're going to be asked for a password. The password is PASSW, but instead of an O, I have a 0RD. It's all lowercase. So, or you can go to this website, put in this password, and here's what we're going to do in a second. Let me flip over to Flipgrid. And I first want you to understand that we could actually put this in Teams as well. So now I could come up here and add Flipgrid right inside of Teams, or they could just use it as a standalone app outside of Teams. So I'm asking you to introduce yourself and maybe a favorite technology that you're using. And let me show you what the video will look like. I recorded one real quick. Welcome to Flipgrid. Hey, I'm Corinne Hoisington, and I hope that you're tuned in and plugged in and ready to learn some more. By the way, feel free to contact me. I'm at hoisingtonc@centralvirginia.edu. Did everyone see there's a closed captioning piece right here? So if you have some students that it's a little harder for them to understand. And notice right here, look guys, the immersive reader is here. So now, by the way, my voice always says Corinne Hoisington. I'm not really Korean, great if I were. But do you see how it does the immersive reader right here, even using Flipgrid? And we can turn on my nouns and my verbs and my adjectives, my adverbs. Oh my goodness, everything is even in this as well. So if you get a chance, I'd like you to go to flipgrid.com. When you put in the website and the password, just click this plus sign right here. And on your phone or using this device, you'll be able to record your video, and we'll keep this as a vibrant community. Maybe share some things that you're doing in your classroom. And you'll be able to see some other teachers, their heads will be right here and some of their ideas that they had. Pretty cool? So that way you can kind of try it out, see what other teachers are thinking, try closed captioning, and even that immersive reader. Wow, a lot of cool stuff. So now that we're putting all this together, let me just show you a little more about
this discussion platform to fuel engagement in schools and organizations. Use video the way your students use video and build an active social community in your classroom. Flipgrid is simple. Create a grid for your classroom, a project team, a conference, or an entire organization. Once your grid is created, add a topic or two to get the discussion started. Students record videos and respond to a topic from any device. Finally, users can view and reply to each other's videos and build an active learning community. Lock your grid with a secure password or leave it open for ease of access. Moderate your grid to preview videos before they're visible to your community. And embed your grids, topics, and individual videos to any blog, classroom website, or learning management system to take your discussion further. So, how will you Flipgrid?
So I think this free tool might be a great time to use this. And let me already show you how this is using in remote learning. Let's head to the most remote place on the planet. I wonder where that is.
Gets a marine biologist studying aquatic life in Antarctica. As Laura documents.
Now, before we go any further, write this down, flipgrid.com/Antarctica. And this is a marine biologist. Well, let's listen in.
Gets a marine biologist studying aquatic life in Antarctica. As Laura documents her daily experiences on her grid, kids from classrooms around the world respond to her videos and build a connected community with Antarctica.
Hi, my name is Laura Gatz and welcome to Palmer Station. I'm a marine biology major at Northeastern University, which is in Boston. I'm here on station to study fish embryos, which is insanely cool work. There's tons of stuff to learn. I'm looking at a lot about how they grow and what that process is like for them. And we're also seeing what happens when you change parts of their environment. Please stay in touch and can't wait to tell you guys more.
In addition, students share their perspectives on weekly topics and STEM-focused questions connected to Laura's research.
Hi, my name is Jillian, and I live in Bristol. So in Bristol, Rhode Island, we usually have some pretty big fish sometimes.
Hey Jillian, thanks for sending me a video. It was really cool to get to hear from you and hear about what fish are like where you live in Rhode Island.
So do you get the idea that maybe students could ask you questions, you could respond, really truly build a community that doesn't have to be online at this exact moment. So now the class could just go to Flipgrid, whether it be on their phones or Chromebooks or any device, and kind of see other questions that students have. Parents might even pop in here. You might have people read a book, and you can create short videos or 5-minute long videos that people can have in response.
Rhode Island. So you probably have some really
pretty exciting. Now, as we're finishing up here, I want to do one last discussion. We've seen a lot of tools, and I have to tell you, we didn't really have time for a deep dive and go hours into Teams. But we thought we'd first start off by giving you what are some tools out there to get your journey started. And between YouTube and emailing me will certainly help you set up. But we've talked a lot about technology, but not too much about humanity. And through this time, I think humanity is super important. And I love what National Geographic and Cengage Learning are doing, really trying to reach out to you to see how they can assist. But in the last year, let me take you to Google and show you what our young people search for online.
Coast Guard heroes arriving in the Abaco Islands.
5 young boys create a rescue trampoline.
The first to run a marathon in under 2 hours.
We have seen what we thought was unseeable.
A relay of dogs will lead blind runner Tom Panic across the finish line.
Nicolas Mahut lost in the French Open, but then his 7-year-old son ran onto the cart to give his dad a big hug.
Her and her sister have been heroes for many little girls out there.
I want to thank my amazing mom. She's my hero.
Hi, I love you.
Exactly what I was thinking.
When you are free to be you, it is the best feeling in the world.
He's the Sully Sullenberger of pizza.
My family is making a grant to eliminate their student loans.
We know deep down what's right and what's needed.
I'm gonna fight this.
Who says I can't? Nobody!
Here it comes. Never been done in competition.
The category is love, y'all. Love.
Use your heart, your courage and vision to fix, to heal, to empathize, to connect. Because living life for something bigger than yourself is a hero's journey.
So let me tell you what your superpower is. We teach. So as we go out in our communities, I want you to remind, let's lift each other up. Let's do the best job we can. Let's understand that a lot of our students are in situations of poverty, and this is going to be a very difficult time. Lift up our nurses, our doctors. Hey guys, Feel free to connect with me. I'm at hoisingtonc@centralvirginia.edu. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at samtechnow. And I want to thank the folks at National Geographic Learning for providing this platform. And reach out to your rep because I know they want to assist. Ciao, guys. Thank you so much.